Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy, Seal Anthony, and my main man, Bryce Ward, who looks like he's cold, but I'm not necessarily sure. Are you
Yeah,
cold,
it's
Bryce?
it's always a little chilly in my house in the morning, and I don't like to mess with anything while the girls are still sleeping. So I just throw on a hoodie and I'm good to go.
Look like you're like a second away from starting to shiver or some shit.
No, I just what is it? It feels good right now outside. It's like in the low 50s.
Yeah, it's some
So
shit like that.
it's
It's
been
it's
some
just a
nice weather
teaser.
around here lately.
It's gonna be damn near 90 later on today. That's Florida weather for you people who are not in Florida.
hmm
Um, so with that said, we're gonna get into, as you can see on the screen, the playoff picture today. Let me start by saying I will not be talking about my favorite team, the Miami Heat. We are tanking in glorious fashion, losers of 10 straight games. We're probably going to lose 11 straight games before our showdown with former Heat player number 22. I will not say his name ever again. There you go. So, Bryce,
But see,
let's.
I was gonna ask you about your heat at some point, so you threw a real wrench into my plans. I was just gonna ask you, where do you think like what's the first thing they need to do for the next coming off season to inspire hope in this new generation of Heat fans who seem to be not knowing what to do after not getting a ring through Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler is his name. You praised him for many years. I won't let you forget his name ever. And like the Sixers and Minnesota and all the teams that come before you in the wake of Jimmy Butler, how do you, the Miami Heat, move on?
Why would you ask me some shit like that? We know this stuff ain't rehearsed. We don't go over this. There's no outlines here. So you're gonna hit me with that curveball at 7 fucking o'clock on a Sunday on God's day, the day of our Lord. You gonna hit me with that
I was gonna
bullshit?
wait till like near the end, but you brought it up, so I had to.
I was specifically saying that we wasn't gonna talk about my heat, but since you want to bring it up, this is the Hardwood Nation podcast where I keep it raw and we keep it real. So you ready for it?
Yeah, because I don't remember you guys being on this long of a losing streak ever.
Fuck you. Outside of Bam out of the Bayou, everybody else can be traded. Blow it the fuck up. I mean, not my youngins, but blow it the fuck up. Get rid of Tyler. Get rid of all the old heads, and just rebuild. We'll be back in 2 years. Two
Who
years
would you like
tops.
to see the team target? Two
I
years
have
is a
no
quick
I have
turnaround.
no fucking idea because every time we target somebody lately, we don't get them. So I'm not even gonna start that. I don't know. I don't care.
And
This
when
is
you
what
say
I know.
turnaround, what do you mean? Like playoffs, championship run? Because
Playoffs.
okay, I just
Playoffs.
want to make sure we're on the same page. I want to know what you're thinking.
If it wasn't for this bullshit ass play-in tournament that I've bashed for 4 years, we wouldn't even have a shot at the playoffs now. So no, just blow it. Look, if the Miami Heat could stop playing the season now, I would say stop playing the fucking season. It has been a horrible second half of the season. Absolutely fucking horrible. But you can't be on top forever, so it's part of the process. I fuck with it.
hmm
But yeah, just blow the shit up. I don't have any targets. I don't care. I just know this team ain't it.
You
That's what
sound like you sound like MB talking about his knee. It's just part of the process. We'll be back.
and contrary to popular belief, I don't mind rebuilding. I don't. I've just been extremely lucky for the past few years that the Heat have kind of rebuilt like super quick. But I don't mind rebuilding. I don't mind a slow rebuild at all. I like it. It's challenging. I actually like being the underdog. So yeah, I'm cool. I fuck with it. So we'll start there. Play-in tournament as of today in the Eastern Conference. You have the 10th seeded Miami Heat who would go to Chicago, and then you have the seventh seeded Atlanta Hawks who would I'm sorry,
Mm-mm.
the eighth seeded Orlando Magic who would go to Atlanta.
hmm
I think Atlanta scares you a little bit. I think I've
hmm
heard you say that before. So kind of
I don't know
tell
if it
our
scares everybody, but personally, they scare me a little bit. Yeah.
so explain to our three audience members why Atlanta is
We
scares
might
you.
get six this week. Um, it's because Trey Young can go off at any point, And I don't want to be looking at the score down 3 at the buzzer and Trey Young walking around doing this shit. Like, I just don't want to see it. They're just more of a wild card to me, and those offensive wild card teams with a Trey Young, they can kind of go off at any point. So yeah, they kind of just scare me a little bit. Um, uh, Especially if we have to play in Atlanta. That's also a
Mm.
little bit scary. And I don't have any crazy, unrealistic expectations for the Magic at this point, but I would like to see our young guys get some playoff series experience. So I would like to see them come out of that and get into some probably against Boston, I guess, get into some
Mhm.
kind of series and just so that Paolo and Franz can get that experience. So we'll see. I mean either way it looks like we're going to be playing Atlanta even if we jump them in the standings. So it looks like that's where we're going to end up. So yeah, I mean hopefully it's not like I think right now we're 1-1 against Atlanta. I think if I remember correctly, I think they beat us at home, we beat them at home.
If
And
y'all
we have
one and
to
one, y'all got two more games to go for the regular season. Then
yeah. Yeah,
okay,
two games against the Hawks left. Going to be very big games. So
yeah, those are
we'll see what
huge.
happens. I'm the Magic have in terms of at least their energy and the look of how they're playing. It seems like they've turned a corner since the last time we talked, but it's still not translating into wins yet. Still very much shorthanded. I mean, they have Corey Joseph starting because even Cole Anthony hurt his big toe or hurt a toe or something like that. So I just it's continued to be the story, unfortunately, for the Magic this season. But still, I'd like to see those young guys get into a series just to get it.
Got it. So I thought the Magic got their playoff experience last year with that heartbreaker against Cleveland. That's just what
They
I thought.
did, but you need more experience. You need more and more.
But no, because the only reason why I say that is because they blew that game 7. I believe it
Hmm.
was in Cleveland, and you got to feel a little pain, and I felt like that was their
Hmm.
painful moment to kind of springboard them. Um, Speaking of Cleveland, after I just demolished my team for 5 minutes, I will say this: we were one of the first teams to give Cleveland an L at earlier in the season. It was actually, I think that was the day before my birthday. I was at the game.
Hmm.
Um, a couple of weeks ago, I think we were winning in the fourth quarter, and then Cleveland came back and beat us by 3. In the event that the Heat beats the Bulls, and we will actually have to beat the Bulls and then beat whoever the fuck out of y'all in Atlanta. But if the Heat were to get that final seed and play Cleveland, I actually think it's going to be a tough series for Cleveland. I'm just throwing that out there. I think that'll be a tough series for Cleveland. Um, I would like to see you guys get the 7th seed and go against Boston. I would like that. Not from a playoff experience standpoint,
Hmm.
but you guys are big. And Boston has issues with big teams historically. So I think that'd be a good matchup for the Magic. And you guys have beaten Boston a few times in the past. So not so much this year, I don't believe, but last year, the year before, you guys are kind of handling Boston. So I think I would like to see Boston in the Magic. How many games you think you guys would push Boston to?
That's that's also the series I want to see, so that
Mhm.
the Paolo and Franz can get a look between both years, a look at Cleveland and Boston. You know, just to know what they're getting into for later seasons. But the same record I would give you guys against Cleveland, probably 5, or I mean, probably 1 game. They probably win
One? That's so
2 games,
disrespectful of you.
two
Two?
games,
Like one?
two,
Get out of
win
here.
2 games. I think the Magic could still win in Boston and surprise them,
Yeah.
and then really piss them off and
Well,
get demolished at least a couple of times here in Orlando. But
as
yeah,
far as
I, I
the
think I think Boston's a bit too much for Orlando in a 7 game series, and I think Cleveland's the same for the Heat in a 7 game series. I think I think we can surprise them somewhere once, but if this was the Magic from last season and we were healthy, I think we could take Boston 7 games. I don't think that's crazy with the way we played Boston, but we're not. I think without Jalen Suggs and without Mo Wagner, I don't think there's too many holes in the Magic this season. Last season's a different story, but yeah, I think maybe we win 2 games, maybe out of that series. I think Boston and Cleveland are just too good this year.
All right. Cavs Heat. Cavs 112, Heat 107. That was earlier this
The
month.
the Cavs have been on a 4-game losing streak since the Magic beat them.
Oh yeah, let me get back to that. Hold on.
Yeah, you're
So
talking shit to me all day.
hold on.
Hmm.
So yeah, March 5th it was 112 to 107. That's the game the Heat were leading and the Cavs came back. Like I said, there was a game in December that the Heat won. I mean, we beat their ass that game. And then in January the Cavs won 6 to 106. So it's 2-1 Cavs right now at Miami. But I do want to address that there. I want to say publicly that the Orlando Magic was the team that ended the Cavs. So I will give you guys kudos for that. Kudos for that. Okay. I don't hate on you guys. I
You
I
were
was just
texting
like,
me before the game started. You go, Magic live on television, laughing face, ha ha ha. And I go, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I think later you were like, I'd like to apologize. Like, you piece of shit.
don't
Was
think I
Jimmy
didn't get.
Butler playing for the Heat? Or was he not suspended for the game you guys won against the Cavs?
He
Do
was
you
playing.
remember?
He was playing, and he
Okay.
played great that game, which just tear made me sad. I'm still not saying his name. You can say his name all you want. I'm not saying his name. So he will be forever known as Heat player number 22 prior to Andrew Wiggins, who is just not it right now. He's not focused right now. So um, no, I just wanted to give you guys some love, and then just I got a few phone calls the minute the Magic won that game. So
Hmm.
I got a couple of phone calls.
Okay.
Um,
Good, good.
so a couple of seasons ago, we had a little rivalry brooding in the Eastern Conference, and as the NBA always does, they for whatever reason don't like rivalries, don't like strife. But we had Milwaukee and Indiana, and they
Yeah.
had a hell of a playoff series that year too. And now it's looking like we're going to have it again this
Hmm.
year. So, so number 5, Indiana 4. So technically, it would be an upset if the Bucks win this series. What chances do you give Milwaukee against the Indiana Pacers?
um, I think 70-30. I think Milwaukee comes out of that series.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And if they don't,
Then kudos to the Pacers. I don't have anything tied up in that. I don't care.
well, no, well, we know one that you hate Tyrese Halliburton, but that's not where I was going with that. Where
Hmm.
was what does Milwaukee do next if they don't win? Even though the Pacers have the higher seed and they're only separated by one game, so that could flip flop possibly. If Milwaukee fails again to have another deep playoff run, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess come up with some. I mean, so far we've seen Milwaukee have quite a few shakeups since winning their championship. I think they've been instead of ripping the Band-Aid off, we've slowly seen a transition of the older guys go out, and really one of the last few big pieces I would think would be Brooke Lopez.
Mm.
Um, I think they're going to try to go do whatever they can. I'm not saying it's going to be some massive move or anything like that, or bring in some other big time player because I don't know what pieces they could use. I mean, you could always they just brought him in, but I would think your biggest piece that you could move would be Kuzma to try to get something else of value in.
Just got there.
But he's not. I don't know what kind of value he has around the league right now, but I think Brooke Lopez will be one of those last dominoes to fall if he does, because it's not like he hasn't played decent for them. He might be the old man out. So I'm not sure. I don't watch them and like I don't watch every game, so I don't know exactly where their issues are compared to like a Milwaukee fan. But I know from more of an outsider, it seems like there's still something missing, and I don't know if it's a bad mix of how they have Dame and Giannis playing with each other or without each other. You know what I mean? I would have to watch it more, but it definitely seems like they're still not quite in the top tier that they want to, at least the top tier that Giannis wants them to be in. So I don't know where I would start. I do think they're making a transition to go more young again,
Mhm.
and we've seen them. I mean, with this last move with Chris Middleton um, on the way out. So I think Brooke Lopez and maybe Kuzma in an attempt to bring in someone else, but I just don't know who that would be or exactly if it would even help. So I don't know. Milwaukee's in a weird place. That they're not like right in the middle to where they don't have any potential to make a run. But it just seems very unlikely at this point.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction here before I go into the next matchup, which is the Knicks and the Pistons. I know some people. The Pistons are the hot team right now, the hot young team in all the NBA. People are loving the Pistons right now,
Mm-hmm.
and they deserve it. They all the Pistons
Mm-hmm.
deserve that love right now. Some people are saying they're going to upset the New York Knicks. That's your 3-6 matchup. I'm not subscribing to them beating the New York Knicks, but I will say this: if the Knicks get by the Pistons, they may play the Celtics in the second round. I got the Knicks going all the way to the finals. And I fucking hate New York. I hate everything about New York. I will always hate. I don't care. Tracy Morgan vomited on the court. I don't care against the Heat. I don't care. Um, I think New York's going to get to the finals. With that said, I'm going to go back to Cleveland. I just don't think they're ready for that first seed yet. I just don't think so. And I think they're going to run into a buzzsaw in New because of Cleveland, Boston, New York. Who's the tougher team? Like toughness wise.
Um. Uh. That's That's a tough question. I think because I'm
Well,
not convinced
Cleveland,
any of them are tough. I think New York is fake tough. I think Boston is the perfect team, and I think Cleveland's the team with something to prove. With the honestly, if I had to go just based on size, I'm going with Cleveland as the toughest team because of Allen and Mobley. I, I don't
they're not
I
tough.
don't believe in
Those
the Knicks at all.
look, Allen and Mobley. I mean, yeah, they're tall, but they don't really intimidate anybody on the inside. Okay. And now, before I get to New York,
Mm,
we know anybody on the Cat has been low key playing great this year.
mhm,
Um, I think the Knicks are tough on the perimeter, where your perimeter with Boston kind of play pretty basketball. Same thing in Cleveland, they kind of play pretty basketball. That Knicks perimeter is tough, man. You know what I'm saying? They are tough.
mm. If they're
And
not
they
getting shots, if Brunson's not getting calls, if the refs aren't giving him every little bump that he throws his head around for, it ain't happening. And also, I think they're going to be gassed at the end of a series against one of those other top tier teams. I think they're going to be gassed. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think if the Knicks had to play Cleveland or Boston, they're losing. I think you're right.
so
I think Detroit could upset the Knicks.
that's what people are calling. I mean, the playoffs are 2.5 weeks away. Let's just say 3 weeks. But a
Mhm.
lot of people are always already calling for Detroit to beat New York. This is what I'm going to say. And like I said, guys, y'all know I don't fuck with the Knicks. I don't. The only thing I like from New York is my girlfriend. That is it. Okay. But if the Lakers go deep into the playoffs, then you're going to see those shenanigans to help Boston go deep in the playoffs. If the Lakers are eliminated early in the playoffs, then I think the Knicks are going to get to the finals. With that said, we're going to hop over to the Western Conference.
Real quick, have you watched Brunson play much this season? I mean,
Not the season, though.
I
He's a
wonder how
good
you
player.
feel about players like that are considered really good, but are some of the worst foul baiters in the league. I want to know, like, when you watch them, what does your immediate reaction tell you? When I say this, I mean, and I'm not saying one guy better than the other. I'm not saying certain players I don't like, but I'm saying you got guys like Brunson, Shea, Embiid, Luca. What kind of reaction do you have when you see like a guy like that play all game? When you witness a whole game, every fucking play is something like that.
I don't think Luca's.
Every little bump is like whoa, and you throw your head back like you got into a 30-mile-per-hour car accident. It's like what is your reaction when you see it not just like once or twice, but you see it a lot, and that's like one of the biggest shots at like Shea and Brunson is some of this foul baiting.
I don't blame Luca for that because the international game that he came up in when he was 16 is a lot different than what the NBA game is. Though the NBA is physical, yeah, this ain't shit to what the NBA I watched when I grew up, but I get it. Even when I watched Shea play, I never looked at Shea and Bronson as a. I, Joel Embiid is the king of it. He was playing, okay. Looked at those guys as foul baiters. Absolutely not.
When I watch a full game of Embiid, I want to gouge my fucking eyes out. It's such an annoying way to watch the game. That annoys me more than 3-point shooting. And it's only, at least with the guards, you see like some fast action happening, something
Right.
exciting happening. With Embiid, he's just posting up. There's nothing happening. It's the most boring thing. I hate it.
His skill,
I
his footwork is impeccable. Okay, skill.
That's fine. His head snaps back. I'm like, you were not moving fast enough for this. What are you doing? But I just wanted your take because uh it's like I wonder how good some of these guys would be if they didn't get the calls that they got. I guess we'll never
So
know.
moving to the Western Conference, I absolutely don't care about this play-in. So I'm gonna because I tell you, man, I've been going to bed at 9 o'clock every day. I have one Western Conference game late at night this season. Kings and Suns. I don't hope the Suns lose. Blow it up. They're gonna blow it up anyway because they're gonna move Durant. They're not gonna move Booker. Bradley Beal's gonna block any trade. Durant's gonna be the one they're gonna move. So Sacramento moves on, and they would play the winner of loser of one Clippers and Minnesota. So let's talk about Minnesota.
Hmm.
How big of a disappointment do you think they've been this year?
I guess they didn't expect the fall off to be as bad when they went from Towns to uh
Randall.
huh
We went from Towns to Randall.
yeah and
Who called that? This guy
yeah.
called
Amongst
that.
I'm sure many other. Yeah, I don't think that one was as hard to figure out.
No, but I'm talking about on our panel,
Yeah.
our preseason panel. I was like, this doesn't make
Hmm.
any sense.
Yeah, Minnesota peaked, and then it seems like Dallas maybe broke them a little bit on top of it. Um,
Wow. And then
I'm,
Dallas.
and then Dallas decided to not even be an NBA franchise anymore. Uh, so it's interesting to see where those two teams were last season compared to now. It's
Mhm.
like, and I don't know because I haven't, like I said with the Knicks, I haven't watched every single game. I was talking about Milwaukee, but Minnesota, I don't know if they've dealt with like the kind like Orlando had so many injuries, even to their two main stars. It's like I don't remember seeing Ant miss like a significant amount
Oh,
this
they
season.
haven't.
So it's like, why
Yeah.
all of a sudden did you fall this far?
Mhm.
That seems to be a bit much. I know people have talked about it, but I don't know if they've made as big of a deal out of it as it seems to be to me for them to have fallen that far. And there's no real reason for it. That one of the biggest differences you just have Randall instead of Towns.
Defensively, and that's the craziest thing because we don't. Town was a great defender. That's what it was, losing these games because Randall can't spell defense at all. Um, I'll say this about Minnesota and about Edwards because Ant was doing Ant thing, doing the same shit he's been doing, which is good. But if he would have said the Grizzlies would have had a record in Minnesota this season, I think people would have thought we were crazy. I really believe that. And the Grizzlies sitting at the fifth seed, and Minnesota's the fucking playing.
Mhm.
I did not expect it. I thought it was going to be flip flop. I knew Randall was a bad fit for the team, but I didn't think they would fall that low. I just did not. So
There's like a nonstop clicking on the audio, and sometimes when you're talking, the click is like it you can't hear you talk for a second. I don't know if it's just coming through on my end or if it's gonna come through on the whole video. But there's parts where when you're talking, the audio clicks out for like a second and then clicks back in, but it's nonstop clicking in and out,
got it.
almost like a staticky click I can hear.
I haven't picked it up yet, so we'll see.
Yeah.
If it does come through, excuse the technical difficulties today.
Mhm.
But no, I haven't picked that up yet. So as far as the Oklahoma City one seed, they've been number one seed for most of the season. How much confidence do you have to make a deep playoff run? And the same question about Houston, who's number two.
I believe in a deep playoff run. Like I believe they could possibly get to the conference finals. I just don't know if they're coming out of the West. I don't know if I believe that for them. In the same sense to where that's my biggest question, even for Cleveland, who I believe in Cleveland more than I do the Thunder. But I it's tough to hit that hump and make it over the first time. Dallas was able to do it last season. I just think it's really hard to do. So it would depend who the Thunder are up against. If it's Denver or Golden State, I have a harder time thinking they can do it. I guess I have more faith in a veteran team being able to pump the Thunder at that point, just out of pure they've done it before. So
Well, that veteran team is going to be the Lakers because let's say the Thunder gets by their first round opponent and the Lakers get to Memphis, and now add good effect the Lakers, which is still wild to say that, but I don't think LeBron came back last night, which fucked me. Chance to add him to fantasy league, and I was like, fuck. But with LeBron having a couple of weeks off to close the record, and with Luca, I just don't think any team wants to run into that. I don't know if OKC can deal with that in the second round.
Into him.
Right. So 4-5 Lakers Grizzlies. I'm going with LeBron James on that, and the Lakers are going to get to the conference finals.
That's going to be a fun series. Lakers and Memphis is going to be a fun series.
And that's almost locked in. It's not locked in as of yet because Denver's one game behind the Lakers, but it's almost locked in. So
I know Denver keeps sitting Jokic. It's going to become way more likely this is how it is, and it's really fucking me up. And I'm sitting Jokic.
We're not talking about that right now. We're not talking about that right now. When you text me the other night, I was like, "Oh, Bryce is having a meltdown."
And it got worse. It got so much worse. It's fine. It's just the way things go sometimes.
I saw. I was like, I ain't even gonna mess with him this week. So the 3-6 matchup, Nuggets and Warriors. And let me just say this before we get started. We've talked about number 22 a couple of times this podcast, and I absolutely love the Golden State Warriors, but I want every Western Conference team from 10 to 1. Hear me. I don't want the Golden State Warriors nowhere near the NBA Finals, okay? I will pay whatever I have to pay for you guys to take out the Golden State Warriors. And it's not anything personal against Draymond. It's not personal against Steph. It's not personal against Steve Kerr. I'm not going to say his name, That's who it's personal against. I cannot have him leave my team and then go win a championship. I
You
can't.
know what's weird is that for as bad as the Heat have been since then, Golden State has almost had the opposite effect, where
Fuck you.
they've really went on a good little run here.
Fuck you. Okay. And look, and not to mention, I have number 22 on both my fantasy teams, and he did drop a triple double this week. I was like, God damn it. So,
Maybe he'll pay his rent out there. We'll see.
so well, look, he got to pay his rent and he got to pay that child support too. So, with that said, fucking bastard ass motherfucker. With
Maybe
that
Steph
said,
Curry will teach him, the good ways or the right
well,
ways.
yes, yeah, with their open marriage, yeah. So, the Rockets would play the win. I mean, it's out there. What do you want me to say?
It's an understanding. It's fine. At least they know.
I mean, Steph's wife's getting smashed by random people. Like I mean, Aisha, she's cute. She's cute. Okay, here we
God
go.
bless America.
Not now.
Mhm.
Not now. Here we go. Clippers and Timberwolves, of course. I don't care. One of them gonna play the Rockets. I mean, the Rockets have had a good season, but the Rockets would run into the winner of Golden State and Denver. Please God, Denver, just
What
win
does
this one
Minnesota
series.
do if they get clipped by the Clippers? I feel like any success the Clippers have is like they can celebrate it because they're just happy Kawhi's playing basketball. I feel like they don't have to do nothing. They're just excited that Kawhi's on the court. But what does Minnesota do if they can't even make it past the play-in compared to where you were last season? I mean, they didn't trade Luca away, then they fell apart. I mean, they haven't had the season they wanted, so
Having Randall there gets them a pass, okay? Because Julius Randall is very not coveted in the league right now. So that gives them a pass, that gives them a shot to move on from Randall. In the event that they don't move on from Randall and they have another bad year, it's going to fall on the coach. They're going to get rid of him
mm.
because now you're getting into the territory of Ants free agency coming up. And there's already some early rumors about that, which I'm not gonna subscribe to that. But he was at a certain training facility doing All Star break or some shit like that. But I'm not
You'll
gonna say
drive
where it
yourself
was.
crazy if you think about every rumor that he had
I'm
tied
not gonna
to.
say where it was, but you know he was enjoying a sunny beach. Okay, but I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
know
say
you
where it
though.
was.
I know you though. Michael Jordan could
Um,
say he's coming out of retirement. You'd be like, "We're gonna get him."
I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I'm not subscribing.
Okay.
I'm not gonna kill myself with this. Okay, but um, so they have decisions that they're going to have to make, and they're going to have to make them within a year. So this off season isn't the off season, but going into next year, if they're not playing good, then those rumors with Ant are going to start. And God knows I'm so sick of rumors. I'm sick of it all. I'm just so sick of it. Like this year, we didn't have a lot of rumors outside of number 22, and then we have this Luca trade that just blew everything up, right? So. Um,
Y'all been
I
tied
don't
to
know.
Kevin Durant for 8 years, 10 years.
Say what?
Y'all been tied to Kevin Durant for like the last decade.
Bro, they're still talking about it. But there's another team that makes more sense for him, who is actually Houston. So that's what I'm hearing now that Houston's going to make a big run at Kevin
You don't
Durant.
think he'll stay another season after they fire Boone?
He doesn't have a choice. They're going to move him because they're trying to shed money now. So no, he doesn't have. They want to trade Bradley Beal. They
Yeah,
want to keep Kevin Durant, but Bradley Beal's like, no, he has a no trade
which that
clause.
kind of move can really push Houston to where they're from now
Right,
to a real
right.
contender. Because this should
That's
be
the
their
move.
experience year. Even if they make it out
Yes.
of the first round, they're going to get clipped. I don't see them making too far of a run, but they're going to be a problem for a team this year, and then next year, especially if they can
Mhm.
add something like Durant, they'll be a real problem.
That's the move that makes the most sense. He already has his bags packed. Like Phoenix has let it be known they're gonna move on only because again Bradley Beal's like he's blocking everything.
Yeah.
That's why number 22 didn't get Phoenix. So
hmm
and kudos to Bradley Beal, man. Like
Yeah, don't give him the power if you want to get annoyed with it later.
Right, right. So kudos to him. And we know they're not moving on from Booker. So um,
And Bradley Bill has enough money to where if somene's like, "Man, we're tired of you," all he has to do is do this. He'd be like, "You see my bag? You see how much money I'm making? I don't care."
right. So with the Warriors playing Denver in the first round, if it stays that way, that's going to be a hell of a matchup.
Incredible,
Who do you think comes out of that? Denver will have home court.
Denver.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Got it.
still a believer in Denver. Denver, in my eyes, I'm not saying they will. Denver could go on a run and win a championship very easily, in my eyes. Very easily. Not to say the series are going to be easy, but they're just as capable out of anybody in the West to win a championship this year.
Playoff number 22. We know playoff number 22 can do special things. And if I keep talking, I'm going to get emotional. But God damn it, Jimmy.
Get over it.
Oh,
Get
I
over it.
can't. I can't. Look, don't get me wrong. The Dallas situation was far worse than the Miami situation. Look, Dallas fans, I love you. I feel you. I am
Look,
sorry.
I ain't never seen some shit like that. All right, that's more. That's more than just. It's not the same situation. That's leave your franchise in a hole for 30 years kind of mistake. All right,
Yeah,
I'm being serious. They don't
yeah,
know how bad this is going to be for a long
yeah.
time. I
I
don't
agree.
think. I couldn't believe. I mean, I still can't believe it.
I agree. Look, there's going to be an ESPN 30 for 30 special. Did you see
The
what Cuba
implode.
said?
It's gonna be called the implosion of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah. Did
Internal implosion.
you heard what Cuban said about it? Cuban was like, "Oh, ain't no way if I was still in charge that would happen." No.
He would have
Um.
fired that guy immediately for just talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. But we do know that playoff 22 is a thing.
I would
But
let Luca smoke hookah on the bench during a game. Do you understand? He could blow smoke in the ref's face for all I care. If as long as he was on my team.
I think as far as the first round matchups, that 3-6 matchup is going to be the best one. It's going to be a slugfest.
Mm-hmm.
Again, playoff 22 can work miracles, but playoff 22 was not able to work a miracle against Denver. Um, but this is the first round versus finals.
I think if Murray has a good series, they have guys like AG with size and mobility. I just think if Jokic and Murray have a good series, I think they beat pretty much anybody.
I think
Golden State.
22 is going to lock down Murray, and I think there's going to be an upset. I think Golden State's going to win that series. You put 22, if you're Golden State, you put 22 on Murray. He can still, even if he's not, and I'm talking about 22 still, even if he's not as effective offensively, because we know sometimes he doesn't care about that, he can lock anybody down defensively. Murray has not seen anyone in the Western Conference in the playoffs that can lock him down like number 22 can. So if I'm Golden State, that's the move I'm making.
They're gonna
I'm
lock him
gonna
up, and then Westbrook is gonna go ham in that series.
I would take Westbrook going, and don't get me wrong, I never say anything bad about Russell Westbrook. But if I
Mm-hmm.
had to choose between who's going to try to kill me, Murray or Westbrook in the playoffs, I'm going to choose Westbrook, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to choose the pretty boy tandem of Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. to try to beat me too, which Golden State has. Look, Draymond Green can scare the hell out of both of those like bright. So defensively. So this is not a good matchup for Denver at
I'm
all.
hoping to see some Jokic circus shots
Oh, you're gonna see that. I mean, he just throws up the most ridiculous shits and it goes in. It's just
from range.
like what the hell? So, so with that said, we're gonna wrap up this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. Everyone stay safe, and we are out.